Goose into the wild. Transformers not number one. Happy Bruce Wayne Day. Reeves has rolled up his sleeves. Goth Girl fall has arrived. Coach Taylor's next job. Pikachu used Thunderbolt. Ghost Rider will never die. Bong Joon-ho faux show. The Coliseum Part 2. Captain America, Black Adam, and Jim Gordon team up. Phone Schmoan. Mr. Sarah Michelle Gellar is back. Deal or no Peele. But before we get to those headlines, news dump. You see this? You hear about this all over social media. We've got ourselves a couple of crazy critters. On one side, hailing from the Thailand Zoo, we have Moo Deng, a 2-month-old hippo, no teeth yet. And then on the other side, from the Melbourne Aquarium, we have ourselves a 50-pound baby king penguin named Pesto. Mac, who's taking home the cuteness award?
So I don't know. This fucking stupid ass baby hippo's been all over my TikTok and all over my social media the last couple of weeks. I don't really understand the infatuation with the goddamn thing. You know what? It looks like a freshly shaved ball sack is what this fucking hippo looks like. I don't get it. I don't get the infatuation with it. The penguins aren't cute. Birds aren't cute. So this is never going to be in the running. So almost by default, the ball sack wins. But how big does a king penguin get? Like 50 pounds, that is a large penguin.
Yeah, at 9 months, it is already heavier than both of its parents combined.
That's wild.
It's a huss. That's why I thought you might take
bird.
the penguin. It's a tank. It's kind of like you. It's a bird version of you.
No, and if these two things fought, I don't think there's a way for the penguin to kill the hippo. Maybe it could drown it, but I don't even know how it would hold it down.
Hippos can't drown, can they?
I don't know. Hippos are terrifying. And
hippos, but this hippo doesn't have no teeth yet.
Still got the crunch power. Still got a jawbone in there, you know?
I guess I should have found out how much Moo Deng weighs, too.
Yeah, I can't imagine Moo Deng is light. Is Moo Deng a he or she?
I didn't look up the gender of either of these animals. If I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't look it up.
Fair enough.
But I do like how either on Thursday or Friday, the Cincinnati Zoo started posting about Fiona again, their hippo from a couple years ago that had all that hype. Yesterday's news, Cincinnati. News dump. Over at the box office this weekend, I can't believe it. Beetlejuice reigns supreme once again, pulling in $26 million, $330 worldwide in its theatrical run so far. And it took down Transformers 1 that did make 25.5. So really splitting hairs here on who took a 1 or 2. But it also only made $14 million internationally, which is kind of surprising. Transformers, pretty big franchise. I guess people might have been turned off by the PG rating or the animation.
Yeah, it is surprising because as an animated movie, it's a lot easier to do voiceovers in other languages. So you would think internationally this would have done really well, although maybe we're overestimating the value of this IP internationally. I don't know. It's very surprising that it did make at least as much as it made domestically. Transformers 1, 88%, 98% on Roddy T's. Very impressive. A 68 meta, which is solid, pretty good, and especially for a child-oriented animated movie. I'd say that's damn good. So that's definitely blown people's expectations out of the water. Again, another one I drafted in the movie draft, so I think that's well and good there. Beetlejuice, it's going to be these two movies now, I think, at the top for like the next 4 weeks.
No, I think the Wild Robot that is coming out this weekend, the Wild Robot, that's going to do pretty well. It's projected, I think, around like 27 to 40 million, somewhere around there.
So it's getting really good reviews. I just didn't know if it was tracking that well. That's a little surprising. So that'll be a three-way battle at the top next weekend. What studio made that?
DreamWorks? ?
Okay.
I'm not entirely sure. Don't
sure.
quote me on that. I only looked up what's coming up this week, so don't ask me any more dumb questions. The Joker also comes out the week after.
Yeah, Wild Robot opened with a 98% on Roddy T's and 83 on Metacritic, so the critics are really, really liking that one.
Also, while speaking to Collider, it just says the future of Transformers. I'm not sure if Optimus Prime spoke to them or not, but the goal of these movies now is to be more focused on the robot's POV in the live-action films, which I do like. Stop giving us people. We don't want people. We want robots. The next live-action film will be a crossover with G.I. Joe, planning a sequel to Transformers 1. I'm guessing it'll be called Transformers 2.
Do
And then instead of them reacting to the human plot, their drive has to be more part of their story now.
Yeah, I think, and as much as I liked that, even the first couple Transformers movies, um, there's something odd about these alien robots just being subservient to humans and serving
Mhm.
humans. So I'm all in on the robot plot and the robot story being the A story, and then the humans having to react and the fallout to that. So I think they've I guess figured it out 17 years in.
In its second weekend, Speak No Evil had a 50% drop to about 6 million. That finished third at the box office. And then finishing sixth was another new release called The Substance. This is the Demi Moore movie. It made 3.1 million in its opening weekend.
Getting pretty good reviews too.
Yeah, I'll check it out when I can.
Same.
News dump. Mac, Batman is about to become the 20th fictional character to get its name, his name. It's a character. How do you do this? Either way,
Has a
Hollywood,
female ever held the mantle of Batman? No, right? Because it's Batwoman.
Hollywood Walk of Fame. It is the first superhero, and it'll be happening this Thursday.
How about that? What a day!
Yeah.
What a time to be alive!
Off
How
the
many?
top of my head, I could open this link that I put here with all of the fictional characters. I'll try and think back to what I looked at earlier. I know that the Muppets and Kermit, so two separate stars. Snoopy is on there, Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, Donald Duck, Garfield, maybe? That sounds wrong.
I'm trying to think about it. Hear me out on this one.
I'm going to open the link, but go ahead.
I think every live action actor that's played Batman is also on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Robert Pattinson might not be there yet.
Is
Christian
Kilmer on
Bale
there?
also might not be there either.
Oh, Bale's got it. Does Bale not have a star?
I don't know how the system works. We ask this every single time. Is there a year thing that you have to wait out? Or did you just pay your union dues and now you're on the fucking
it's a
Walk of
hefty
Fame?
donation. If they're like, you're borderline, but hey, 50 grand would really help you out if you want to get on this year. I think that's sort of how it works.
Get this bullshit. Listen to who's on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Alvin and the Chipmunks? Go eat shit.
Hold on. What's your beef with Alvin and the Chipmunks? Alvin, Simon, Theodore.
Dude. If you're looking at like the top 19 fictional characters of all time, you're not putting Alvin and the Chipmunks on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
They were early and influential. I mean, it makes sense to me. I'm not going to come out strongly against the Chipmunks.
Minnie Mouse, Snoopy, the Muppets, Tinkerbell. Makes sense. She's in a lot of movies. And she's also caused a hefty fetish for a lot of people, too.
Yeah, I think that's
when she gets stuck in the keyhole.
I think that's why she made it on there in the first place.
Shrek's on there.
That's a little weak.
That does make me question how many years. Shrek's kind of new.
Shrek is this millennium type of character.
The Munchkins from The Wizard of Oz.
Oh, I don't like that.
Oh, come on, Mac. Winnie the Pooh.
Okay, fair.
Godzilla, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Donald Duck, Kermit the Frog, the Rugrats. Hell yeah.
All right, I like that.
Hell yeah.
I'm in on that.
The Simpsons, that makes sense. Big Bird. What about the rest of the Sesame Street gang, though? If we're doing Kermit by himself and the Muppets, all the other Sesame Street characters have to be there.
And Elmo's the star there. Elmo should get his own, not fucking Big Bird.
And I would even question the original star of the show was more... was Grover during the early seasons, or did he jump in the 80s?
Either way, it's not Big Bird.
Because Grover was a superstar before Elmo took over, and then everyone pushed over Grover like he's Fiona the Hippo. It's a callback to the first segment. Woody Woodpecker is also on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
All right, that's a stretch.
He sucks, but whatever. Pee Wee Herman. Not Paul Rubin. I would probably go with Paul Rubin, like let the man live. R.I.P., obviously. Snow White is on there. First Disney movie makes sense, I guess. Bugs Bunny and Mickey Mouse. But if you're putting Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, and Donald Duck on there, but then you're only putting Bugs Bunny but not Daffy Duck, This is hypocrisy, if you ask me.
I also felt like you just named 49 characters and not 19, so that's interesting.
Oh, this is a good one right here. It just says dog performers.
Did you get 1 star?
They get 1 star, and it is the three iconic dog characters. It is Lassie, Rin Tin Tin, and Stronghorns.
Here's a question that I know you will not know the answer to. Can
Hit me.
someone have their Hollywood star removed?
You broke up. I didn't hear that.
I said, can someone have their Hollywood star removed?
Oh, absolutely. I would assume that if Rin Tin Tin went on some kind of I don't know, a Rogan podcast, he could have his taken
Well,
away too.
I asked because the Simpsons should probably have theirs removed.
Oh, go F yourself. News dump. Speaking of Batman, we've got a ton of the Batman news, of course, in the anticipation and wake of the season premiere of The Penguin. The big takeaway, I guess I can get to the small ones in a second, but the big one for me is that Matt Reeves is not sure if we'll see the return of cinematographer Greg Frazier, I'm not sure how we're pronouncing it, however he wants to, for the Batman 2. I don't know yet. He's the best. This depends on his schedule, and they're aiming to shoot this or filming in the first half of 2025. But Frazier is also expected to be working on Dune 3 next year. He's the best in the fucking business, and that's a huge loss.
Here's the only thing I'll say, and this is out of complete ignorance. I have no idea. So this may work out perfect if he doesn't have to be involved in the editing process. Are cinematographers involved in the editing process? Because if he is, it almost feels like he's got to pick one or the other.
I think he's going to have to pick one or the other.
That's not great. How come he wouldn't?
It's not great.
See, man, but either director's going to be okay. You know what I mean? Like, Reeves is going to be fine. Villeneuve's going to be fine without him. It would just be nice to have him
but
on
think
both.
of all those amazing shots that we got in both Dune 2 and in the Batman.
Which movie would you prefer him do?
I mean, I'm a Batman boy. I'm going to pick the Batman, but
Okay.
I mean, Dune 2 was so good, and Dune 3 is going to be great too. I don't know. Cinema.
I feel like Dune is helped more by the cinematography than the Batman is, but
I don't know. Go back. I think Culture Crave might have had like the 8 best shots from the Batman, and you look at them and you say, "What in the world? This
cool.
movie is shot beautifully."
Yeah, very true.
Some other questions. He was asked about the Court of Owls, if they'll be appearing in this movie. He wouldn't comment. So
People have been talking about the Court of Owls for years, even going back to the Nolan films, and I think the concept is cooler than the actual manifestation of it. I don't really care to see them live action, but obviously it is a thing. One of the few things, I guess, at this point we haven't gotten live action.
Michael Giacchino. I think that's what we're gonna go with here.
Giacchino.
Giacchino?
Yeah,
Are you sure about that's not why?
for sure.
Okay. Well, he is returning to do the score of the movie. He was the composer of the first one. And the other big piece of news here is Reeves was talking about the not canceled, but kind of postponed Arkham show. And he said that the
No, I
spinoff,
think it is canceled.
no, it's not canceled. What he said is that the Arkham spinoff show is evolving and is on a path towards its final destination. So it might not be completely Arkham, but it's going to be kind of what they started with, and it's going to move to something else.
So is this the cop show we're talking about, or is this
So that's the whole thing, is that it started as the cop show,
Yeah,
the
this is
Gotham PD, and then
Yeah,
it turned
yeah.
into Arkham, and now it's
Okay.
turning into something else. I would imagine that a lot of this has to do with how well Penguin does on HBO.
I guess yes, but what I imagine is that show is gonna fill the gap between 2 and 3 the way Penguin is between 1 and 2.
Imagine all the people.
Living
For
today.
News dump. Let's get to our Menuto Penguino. It's good. I like it.
Chickpea.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
The Penguin,
I love that. So basically, the Batman is a mystery noir thriller
Yeah.
sort of movie framed through the lens of a Batman story. The Penguin is this mobster movie framed through the eyes of Penguin. And I really like the direction they're heading in.
It's
And I'll tell you,
derivative of Tony Soprano. Sure, whatever.
I'll,
Everything's derivative
I'll
now.
tell you what. I did not expect Christine Milioti to steal my heart and be as good as she was in this
I
first
knew that.
episode.
I knew she was going to steal my heart immediately. She won the Pants Off Award a couple years ago on the Mac and Goop program, and I expect nothing less every single time I see her. You know what I was surprised by? And yes, she's a standout. The opening scene with Mr. Maisel from The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. The scene with his mother fucking ruled.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good. And I think they even just in one episode, they did a really good job building out Oswald Cobblepot
Yeah.
as yeah, he's a villain, but now he's sort of an anti-hero. I don't know what we're doing here. It's interesting and I'm liking it.
He's a sympathetic bad guy who's got hurt feelings.
And a clubbed foot.
And a clubbed foot. I also, in this show, I love how they ended it with the slush puppy.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, if you're not sneaking extra squirts in your slush puppy, you're not my kind of person. I don't care if it recommends 2 or 3. You're doing double that at least every time because you get to the bottom and then you just get fucking clear ice left.
Kristen Milioti also said that she's always wanted to play a Batman villain, and as a child, she was obsessed with Batman Forever.
I would like to see her Batman Forever cosplays. Number 2.
What, do you think that she's Chase Meridian?
This is why hashtag Goth Girl Fall is here. Because of course we knew we were getting that sort of stuff in Agatha, but
Yeah.
she is doing it. She's doing it for me. I'll tell you what.
Also, Ted Mosby didn't deserve her. News dump! Kyle Chandler is in talks, star as Hal Jordan in the Lanterns series. This is via Deadline. He's known as Coach Taylor.
Yeah, if you've ever seen Friday Night Lights, he was the coach in that show, and he was fantastic in that show. He's also he's always playing like someone's brother or like a B level character in a lot of
Yeah.
shit, but I really really like him, so I hope he gets this opportunity. And if you didn't see Friday Night Lights, he was also Casey Affleck's brother in Manchester by the Sea.
Mhm.
Played a great role in that. So I think this is pretty good casting if he gets this.
He's always someone's brother.
Hey.
News dump. Just got a trailer today. I wasn't expecting this really, and that's for the Thunderbolts asterisk.
Asterisk.
Damn it, I knew I was going to mess that up. But this is very Yelena heavy.
Yeah, it seems like she's gonna be our main character here. Or her and Bucky, I think, will be the top 2 characters here. We're really viewing the story through. And it also seems like some of the leaks we had heard were true in that they're all going to be hired for the same job. They all come together.
Mhm.
We finally see Lewis Pullman's Sentry. So I'm assuming they were thinking whoever hired them to get into that little lair, they thought Sentry might kill them. I don't know.
Very
I'm
Suicide Squad-esque,
intrigued.
but yes.
Yeah, I'm intrigued by the whole thing. That's for sure.
We also see Bucky washes his arm in a dishwasher.
Love
That's
that.
fun.
What kind
And
of detergent you think he uses? You think he uses the pods?
that's a good question. He looks like someone, he's from the 1930s. He was born in the 1920s, I believe. That would he would just use the soap. Well, he'd dump the soap into that little thing there.
And then he'd fuck it up and have to clean up the kitchen when there's bubbles everywhere.
Imagine if there was a scene in this movie where he puts too much soap in the
Or
dishwasher.
he uses the regular detergent instead of the dishwasher detergent, and then everyone did that at some point.
Or if he does that and then one of the other characters doesn't realize that he already put soap in there, so they put more soap in there. And then another one also puts more soap in there. It's a classic Brady Bunch scenario.
Sounds like an episode of WandaVision.
Yeah. I did think it was a little bit weird that they were all so surprised to see Bucky on the motorcycle at the end of this trailer after they had already revealed him as a character in the movie. So are we gonna get more brainwashed Bucky? Because I don't know if I want that.
No, I think it's gonna be they're surprised he's like fighting again because he's like a
senator,
congressman or a
he's a
senator or
congressman of
something like this. Yeah. So I think they're just surprised to see an actual Avenger like coming after them.
News dump. Ooh. Ready to get spooky in the witching hour?
Cake. It's not even my birthday.
Nice. We got our first 2 episodes of Agatha all along. First episode is a crime procedural until they decide to change it and give us what the actual show is. And I think my biggest issue with the show, I think it's been okay, but I don't like witches. It's been said many of times by many of people, but I don't care for witch stories.
Fuck witches get money. That's
That's what
what Goose
I
says.
say. That's on the back of my dollar bill.
I really enjoyed the first 2 episodes. I think some people didn't pick up in the first episode that they were purposefully spoofing and being farcical with the way things
Oh
were
no,
going.
no, I thought that was pretty obvious.
I love
But
no, I know there were some people out there that didn't pick up on
I
that.
did like the is this spoilers? Shoot, should we have
No,
said
it's the
something?
first 2 episodes of the
Okay.
show. Yeah.
I do like how she's trapped in this reality, like in her mind,
Yeah.
and everyone else is just humoring her.
Yeah, yeah, right. Everyone else is not trapped.
Yeah.
They're living their regular lives in Westview, and she's just being a different character.
Yeah.
I like where they're going. Ultimately, this feels like what are they possibly gonna do at the end of this season to make it worth our like to make it worth watching, I guess, for lack of a better term.
Like, how is this going to pay off in the bigger scheme of things?
Right,
I
right.
don't think
'Cause
it is. I
I
think it might give us a hint that that Wanda is still out there somewhere.
that's what I'm
'Cause
guessing. Yeah.
I believe so. The building that fell on her, that was seen in the void in Deadpool, correct?
Oh, I don't know.
So
Good,
there
good.
might be something with that.
So obviously, there the Darkhold has taken like the center of the show,
Yeah.
and that seems to be tied in inherently into Wanda. So I feel like there's going to be something Wanda
Maybe
wise
there's
here.
something with Wanda or Vision, but I don't think it's
It's
gonna.
also it's
Yeah.
tough because we don't know enough about this magical side of Marvel to really figure out where they're going like we can on some other shows. So I'm intrigued by it. I enjoyed the first 2 episodes. It was much better than I thought it was going to be. So I'm looking forward to see where it goes.
I am liking this as much as someone can who does not care for witches.
All right, fair enough.
News dump. Got some news via Collider that Brad Winderbaum, he wants to make himself a Ghost Rider show on Disney Plus.
This is interesting.
Yeah.
Ghost Rider was tried obviously a couple times with Nick Cage, failed miserably. They did bring him into Agents of Shield. Was he in? He was in one of the, or was he in Agent Carter? He was in one of those
Agents of
shows.
Shield, he popped up, I believe.
Yeah. Uh, so clearly they've been like still wanting to. If he's gonna pop up in Agents of Shield, like this has been
It's a
floating
cool looking
around.
character. You
It's an
can't pass
awesome
up
looking
on it. Yeah.
character. I guess this might be the route. Maybe this is how they get it done to make it more palatable. Is a show instead of a movie.
And then I'm blanking on what his team name is. It the Midnight Suns? I think he wants.
Yes. Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
they eventually want to do something with them? So you need to introduce him somewhere. I'm
Mhm.
just confused. I'm not confused. I'm fucking confused. I'm a little because I know that Iger said that he wants to cut back on the Marvel TV shows. So it really is interesting how they're picking and choosing which characters to use now.
Yeah, it does seem like there's probably some fighting behind the scenes where they're like, "Hey, in order to do this in the future, we're going to need to do this, but in order to do that, we do need a show to set that character up." So, I don't know. We'll talk as much shit as we want about Marvel
Yeah.
shows, and then we end up watching them anyways.
That's what I was telling myself the other day. I'm like, I'm not that excited to get like jumping into Agatha, but what am I going to do? Not watch it?
Yeah, right.
News dump. I'll tell you what I am excited for again. The movie that we had as number 2 as our most anticipated movie of 2024. And then when we heard that it got bumped to January, a fucking no man's land for movies of 2025, I said, I'm kind of concerned because usually the January movies aren't very good. But we got our first trailer for Mickey 17, and I am all the way back in, and as of right now, my number 1 most anticipated movie of 2025.
Well, now I'm so fucking confused. I don't understand why it got bumped. What was there rewrites, reshoots? I'm confused because in my head, this trailer looks awesome.
It looks fun. It looks
I'm
so
so
fun.
into this movie, so into it, and like the trailer may make it seem a little more whimsical than it's actually going to be because obviously Bong Joon-ho has directed some dark movies in the past,
Yeah.
Parasite most notably. So I think this is gonna be a little darker than the trailer has led on, but man, I am very into what the trailer gave
Yeah, because
us.
I'm getting like a sci-fi multiplicity vibe from it,
Yes, for sure, for sure.
especially with he's doing the voice.
Don't do the voice.
But I saw this. I'm just like, wow. But
Yeah.
I was so concerned for nothing. I had so many sleepless nights for no reason.
Well, and I had read some chatter on the old interweb about
Yeah.
how it was things weren't going well, and that's why it got
It's a
delayed.
Sony movie, right? Is it Sony?
I don't know, but
Whichever company that has it said that it was unwatchable or something.
yeah. So either they did do massive reshoots or massive re-edits and fixed it, or whoever the fuck came out with that is a complete and utter moron.
I will say this though, what was the Adam Driver dinosaur movie that came out
Oh,
last year?
65?
Yeah, where that was another movie that we were very excited about because of the actor and the sci-fi scenario that they're being put in.
Sure. Yep. Yep.
And I feel like that could be the type of letdown that it is.
Okay, that's
But
fair.
also, I'm willing to put myself on the line.
Same.
I'm here for it. News dump. Also got our second trailer for Gladiator 2, and I was in for this until that fucking monkey opened its mouth, and I said, I'm all the way out.
I somewhat agree with you, but then when I saw the flooded Coliseum, I came all the way back in. I'm like, fucking, this whole movie is gonna showcase all the cool shit that happened in the Coliseum. It's probably gonna be too long, but I feel like I'm gonna like it more than I should.
And then the other Billy D posted on X saying, well, what if he was fighting Proximus Caesar? And I'm like, fuck, that would have been dope.
Good. The internet, of course, Gladiator 2 is releasing the same day and weekend as Wicked.
Yes.
The internet is now trying to start Glicked as a thing,
I don't
obviously
like it.
to prey off of Barbenheimer. So I know Wicked's gonna make buku bucks, and I feel like Gladiator 2 might as well. So maybe they're on to something there.
I don't think there's a movie that I could be in less than a movie about witches that is a musical, and I just found out is part one of a two-part movie thing. I don't want any part of Wicked.
Yeah, but Ariana Grande.
Yeah. News dump. I didn't see the trailer for Red One. Was there a trailer? I saw the movie poster earlier, and someone said that this is a Tug Speedman movie.
I saw that pretty good tweet.
That's a good joke.
I'm not gonna lie, the trailer made this movie look watchable. It's not gonna be amazing. I thought it was gonna be fucking horrible. The trailer makes it look watchable.
It's in theaters, right?
November, yeah.
Yeah, but it looks like it's a Netflix movie.
The whole everything leading up to the trailer would make you believe it's a Netflix movie. The trailer, it looks decent. I'm not gonna
Okay.
lie, it looks fucking decent.
Well, speaking of shooting a movie, news dump. We have ourselves our first movie shot on an iPhone. This is via Wired? 28 years later has reportedly been shot on an adapted iPhone 15 Pro Max. And what's funny about this is if you see the rig that the iPhone is hooked up to, it's like millions of dollars of stuff.
No, it looks like a fucking actual movie camera. It's
Yeah.
just there's an iPhone buried in the middle of it somewhere.
Yeah, so kind of cheating.
It
They're
is cheating.
They're cheating.
And I guess that I don't. To me, it's not shooting it on an iPhone. The iPhone's just the vehicle. Like, I don't know. I don't like this claim that they're saying this. What was the Steven Soderbergh movie that came
Insane.
out like 3 or 4 years ago?
Insane.
Yes, with Elizabeth Moss. That
Yes.
was actually shot on an iPhone with not insane rigs, and then that felt like it a little bit too, but not in a bad way. This is just kind of bullshit. I don't. It's a fake. If you had just a gimbal in an iPhone, I'd be like, okay, shot on an iPhone. This has, I mean, it's as big as a person. The rig they got, like I can't tell me that you're gonna actually claim this is shot on an iPhone.
Also, what kind of a novelty is this?
Yeah,
Guys,
right.
we shot this on something you have.
Yeah, in fact, it almost feels like they probably spent more on equipment to adapt to the iPhone than the equipment they already had.
News dump. Freddie Prinze Jr. will officially star in the new I Know What You Did Last Summer movie. This is set to come out on July 18th, 2025. And where Freddie Prinze Jr. goes, maybe SMG follows.
Ooh, and maybe
She's dead, though. She died.
She died in the second one, right?
The first one.
Oh, she does die in the first one?
I think Brandy dies in the second one. No, she's alive in the second one, I think.
Sarah yeah. Jennifer Love Hewitt's still alive, right?
She is, Jennifer Love Pfefferman.
That would be nice to get her back, I'll tell you
I
what.
mean, you
But
gotta get her back. You're not selling the movie unless she's back. And then
I
I
mean,
guess we need to
they
figure out, is Brandy alive?
I think they're looking at the moderate success of the Scream
Yeah,
requels, and they're
they
like, "I
have to.
think we could do something similar." And our like, their stars are, like, so 90s popular that you would get a pretty good crowd to go see, and I Know What You Did Last Summer if they brought all those stars back.
News dump. Mac, we are getting theater upgrades across all the big names. AMC, Regal, and other large theater chains plan to spend $2.2 billion to upgrade over 21K. That's thousand screens, sound, projection, seating, and dining experiences will be upgraded. Some theaters will add pickleball, zip lines, and bowling alleys. And I know why I'm going, just for the zip line.
I get what they're going for here. They wanna make it a whole day experience with parents and children, and maybe that's how you get people to stay and spend money. For you or I, if you were going to see a movie, I might have a drink or 2 before, but I wanna get in, get out, and just have high quality popcorn.
I
To
also don't
me
wanna hear all those, the
yeah,
very loud
yeah,
pickleball paddles
right.
either.
To me, this is overthinking it.
Yeah.
Keep it simple, stupid. Have really comfortable seats.
Mhm.
Have you know, I have a theater in which every seat in there is a good seat. Don't have them too close or too wide. Do really good popcorn and a few other things, and that's really how you're gonna get people to keep coming back.
Fresh
This
popcorn.
Yes, this thing just seems like a novelty type of thing that'll wear off after a bit. I don't know. I guess it's maybe worth the effort for the theater chains, but not for me.
I was all in on the movies doing collectible popcorn buckets again. I thought that was gonna save cinema.
In on that? I'm in on that too.
Yeah.
I'm like 0 for 3 trying to get them though. They never have them every time I go.
I am one for I think I've tried 3 or 4 times. I tried to get the Ghostbusters one. They told me I was a day too early, and I'm like, "Your movie's gonna fail, so F
Yeah,
off."
yeah, fuck off.
I got my Batman one. It's dope.
Yep.
And then that might be it, actually. I know you tried to get the Optimus Prime one last year.
Yeah, that was absolute horseshit that I couldn't get that one.
That was horseshit. And then someone at my work had it, and it was just staring at me, and I'm like, Mac deserves this. Mac
You'll never
deserves this
know.
car that you can put popcorn in the back of. News dump. Via People, Keegan Michael Key said that he and Jordan Peele don't really see each other much anymore. Our evolution, I think, is tied to both of what our desires are. His desire is to start exploring the horror genre, and mine is more dramatic work, which is what I trained for at school.
Yeah, this is interesting because I think Key and Peele is criminally underrated when you talk like all-time comedy shows. Like, yeah,
Sketch comedy shows.
yeah, just in general too. I think
Don't
it
put it
was
in the big broad
it
bucket.
was legitimately hysterical. Some all-timers, and it's interesting to think about because in the immediate aftermath of that show, Peele starts doing stuff behind the camera, not really acting at all, and
Mm. Kegel.
Keegan
Kegel Michael Keys trying to tighten up them lips.
Keegan Michael Key is the opposite. I think he has done a couple of directing things or stuff like that, but he's more on camera and doing that sort of shit. And I actually have seen him in a couple of dramatic roles. He's pretty fucking good in them. So it's just, I think that's just the natural evolution. You know, they were younger when they were
Mhm.
doing that show. Now they're both pursuing things they can because they've made enough money to do so. So to me, that's not a big deal that they're not that close anymore, you know?
It's gonna be like Mac and Goo when we have our windfall of cash, and Mac goes off to explore horror things, not well horrible things as well, but
No,
horror, and I try to get more into my dramatic side.
I'll just finally open up a good strip club in Boston. I'll be known for that.
It's gonna be a haunted house too.
You'll be we're, do- we're doing scared boners.
It also reminds me of the Key and Peele sketch where they're both outcast, or not both outcast. One is Andre 3000, one is Big Boy, and they both just kind of separated, and then they're just
Yeah.
different people now.
Yep. That's the natural evolution of things, that's for sure.
News dump. We have our first 5 hosts of Saturday Night Live season 50. Gene Smart, Nate Bargatze, Ariana Grande, Michael Keaton, and John Mulaney. A pretty good murderer's row of hosts right there. Best part about it, October 19th, that is the show just before Halloween, and that is the Michael Keaton episode.
Yeah, you also failed to mention the high quality musical guests they're getting in all these episodes
I've
too.
never
So
heard music before, so can you tell me, are these people any good?
we're getting Jelly Roll with Gene Smart. He's actually playing in Boston this week. I think tickets are through the
Oh,
roof. Coldplay,
let me see
whatever.
you jelly roll.
Stevie Nicks on the Ariana Grande episode, so I hope they do a fun sketch there because Stevie's always down for shit. Billie Eilish doing the Michael Keaton episode, and my girl Chapel Roan on the Mulaney episode. So very much looking forward to that. But very good start to the SNL season, and I think there's a little bit of a turnover with the cast as well. I think they're gonna have like 3 new cast members, so interesting.
That one better be a fucking spooktacular, that Keaton episode. Also, just a quick heads up, we just had our Saturday Night Live trivia at Idle Hands Craft Ales, 89 Commercial Street, Malden, Massachusetts. Thank you for coming out. I was only booed once, and I got one audible gasp.
Okay, what was the gasp for? What question?
It was, I was listing the original kings of catchphrase comedy,
Yeah.
and I can't, it's something stop or I'll suck your cock to Pinsky. And when I said it, people were like, oh. But then I pulled them right back in with White Bernie Mac. So it's okay. I think it's Bill Topinski. It's played by Bill Hader. He's a Bills fan. He's a Bears fan.
That nickname's gonna get me every time.
It's funny every time, but I got like a bunch of gasps though. They're like, what? And then my boo came at the half when I put in something super obscure.
That's worth it though. I thought it was
didn't
good.
like it. People
Yeah,
didn't like it.
we
But
did
hey,
good.
check us out in October. We don't have a date completely set in stone yet because we're going to find out Mac's schedule very, very soon. But at some point in October, we'll be at Idle Hands, 89 Commercial Street, Malden, Massachusetts, for It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia trivia.
There you go.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Long time coming for sure.
Long time coming.
Oh, sure. And
Twosome.
if you're a fan of this channel, I think our very first episode, technically on this channel, is Always Sunny draft.
That was our first recorded episode for this. Our first episode on this channel is Simpsons. We have 14 episodes before we get to, or 13 before we get to Fred Toucher and the It's Always Sunny draft.
Yeah. And Fred Toucher has fond memories of us 2 podcast boys.
He completely forgot. He forgot our names. And he said that we did it for too long, even though it's one of our shortest episodes.
Yeah, it was like 40 minutes maybe.
Like a half an hour. We only went like eight rounds.
Yeah, pretty good. Good stuff.
It's a good episode. Go and check it out. News dump! And finally, of course, 2024 is 30 years after 1994, one of the greatest years in cinematic history. And this is the 30th anniversary, the week or the day. I don't know. You just fucking...
Well, it was day yesterday or today. Week for
of
sure.
Shawshank Redemption.
Yep. Which, if you followed along to #Dork podcast in the last couple of months, Goo and I were on a couple episodes there where we went through top 50 movies of all time, and Shawshank Redemption ended up being number 1. I would say deservedly. I don't know if anyone actually had it number 1 on
My
their list.
only issue is that Goodfellas should have been number 1. And then Davey trying to poo-poo it as if it's a piece of shit movie that doesn't deserve to be in his top 50.
Yeah, that was a wild move by Ryan Davey. That was insane to me. I wonder how. So I think Keith did say, though, Davey would have had to put that like 25th for it to be number 1. But anyways, Shawshank ended up number 1. I think we all agree Shawshank is one of the best movies of all time. I think I did have it in my top 10, but I didn't have it number 1.
Same. It was in my top 10, I believe.
Yeah.
But Justice for Goodfellas. Was it number 3?
It was number 3.
I guess that's still pretty good. Never mind.
Yeah, not bad. It's on the Rushmore.
It's on the Rushmore. News dump.